Alright, so this is going to be another video on tuning the Sniper EFI. So I've had the system about a week now, and I've driven the car, I don't know, maybe 100 miles. I've been working on other stuff as well. You'll notice the head unit is still free floating because my plan is to mount it under the air conditioner, but this week I rebuilt, actually it's taken me more than a week, but I rebuilt the heater box, so I had to replace the heater core and all the hoses and ducting and seals and everything, and in order to get the heater box out, I had to have the air conditioning out, so I wasn't able to, and I haven't been able to mount the head unit until I finish up with the heater box and the air conditioner. Notice the stereo's hanging out, so my car's a mess. I'm looking forward to it looking good again, and I'm getting close. But in the meantime, in the last week, living with the new EFI unit, what I've noticed is it sometimes will struggle to start. So if you remember from one of my previous videos, to get it to start, you put the key to on, the head unit comes on, and it boots up. And I don't know if you could hear that in my last video. I'm not sure if you could hear it, but you hear the fuel pump come on for about 2.5 seconds. And so it's priming the system. So what you do is you wait for the head unit to come on, you listen to the fuel pump. When the fuel pump shuts off, then you know the car's ready to start. But what I've noticed is, and we'll see if it happens this time or not, when I go to start it, sometimes it struggles a little bit. And there is a setting in the EFI computer on how much you prime your EFI system on startup. So that might be something that we play with today. So I don't know if you could tell, it kind of struggled just a little bit there. And so what I want to play with is upping the amount of fuel that it primes the system with on startup. Now I know there's other things you want to be concerned with when you're programming something of this sort, so I'm going to be very gentle. I'm not going to go hardcore, but I wanted to show you guys again how easy this thing is, and then I'm probably going to walk you through a couple of the other parameters that you can adjust on the head unit, because there's a bunch of stuff there and it's really simple, and I don't know if it's abundantly clear to everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. None of these videos are practiced. I've never done any of this before, and it's so simple, even I can figure it out. So here we go. What did we do last time? I think we went home, and then we went to tuning, basic tuning. So last time we played with basic idle. That worked actually pretty well, but you know, the other thing I did this last week, and something to consider, was we were playing around with engine speed last time, but then also I went and I changed from 87 octane to 91 octane or whatever we have here in California, and it appears my idle went back up. And I'm not sure if that makes sense or not, but something to consider if you play around with the type of fuel you're using. It may affect idle. So anyway, back to basic fuel. You'll notice we have target air-fuel ratio. I don't know if you're able to see this very well because of the lighting in here. Let me see what I can do to fix that. We got a bad glare. Target air-fuel ratio, acceleration, enrich, and then fuel prime. So we're here today to talk about fuel prime. So notice that we have the fuel prime percent at 150%. And I, again, apologize for the glare. We got a little bit of sun here in California today. So I want to go up to maybe 175. And then we're going to shut the car off and try it again and see if it still struggles. You go by single percentage. So let's go maybe 165. Click save. Go home. Let's shut it off. Start it back up again, see what it does. You know what? This is actually cheating, because when the car is running and you turn it off and you turn it on again, it's better primed than when it hasn't been running. The point of this video is to show you how easy stuff is, and we're going to go back to that head unit in a second. I'm going to show you the other parameters you can change, but let's see what happens when we start it back up. Yeah, still struggling. Anyway, so that's something you can do there, and I'm going to play with that more to see you know, if it affects or fixes the problem I've been having. It hasn't been a huge problem, you know. If you just put your foot on the gas like you do with a carburetor, you can pump it a couple times and make it all go away. So really not a big deal. And man, we're really got a glare here. So some of the other things you can do in tuning, and I got to get this glare figured out for you guys. Going back to basic. So you've got basic fuel, basic idle, basic spark. When you go to spark, check out all the things you can do with timing. Timing at idle, timing at cruise, timing at wide open throttle, cranking, etc. You can do all this from the unit. Obviously, when we go to basic fuel, you can do all your different air fuel ratios at different RPMs, so idle, cruise, and wide open throttle. And you know, I'm not going to adjust any of these right now, but again, it is just so simple, right? If I wanted to change my cruising air fuel ratio, you can either drag that needle or use the arrows. And that same setup is true on any of these other parameters that you can play with. So fuel, timing, what have you. So I'm still playing with it, and you know, I'm working on a lot of other things in my car. So this week I had to replace the stereo system because I had a crappy alternator which blew my stereo. I had to rebuild the heater box. I've been playing around with EFI, so on and etc. But that's the joy of having an old car. Anyway, I hope this was useful. The idea is, you know, there's a lot there that you can do, and it's super simple to do it. So simple that you almost want to be a little careful, because you can change a lot of the different stuff. So I'm just being really gentle and making small changes as I go. Feel free to ask questions. If you have anything in particular you want to see, you know, let me know, and I can try to put up a video to show you. Little hula girl.